Oh my.
What is it now, Fen?
Oh, nothing. Just don't look down. These tunnels look freshly dug. The Grey Host has certainly... Harrow Fiends! Is that what became of the herald Svargrim brought to Castle Down?
How long have they been here? Is this why my father sealed off his precious tower? To hide them? Svargrim has much to answer for. Much to answer for indeed. Rada al-Saran not only turned my father into a vampire, he merged him with Greymoor Keep. We should be thankful that the process has taken as long as it has. I don't think we have much longer, though. We need to reach him before the storm breaks.
Those Harrow Fiends, stacked up like warhounds before being set loose on their prey. Such close quarters is driving them into a frenzy. Let's hope that pen holds. Get to the surface and make our way up to the Tower of the Wolf. Then do whatever it takes to keep Svargrim from calling the Harrow Storm down upon the city. Child's play, wouldn't you say?
I can't believe those Harrow Fiend creatures were once regular people. It's horrific what's happened to them. I'm pretty sure. I think this is how the Grey Host forces were able to sneak into the Temple of the Divines and take control of that location. Go fast, but try to be stealthy. Maybe we can surprise them like they surprised the Sword Thane's soldiers.
Up ahead! That's the temple's undercroft.
Princess Lana!
The Harrow Storm. It's begun.
Look, above the Tower of the Wolf. The storm's only partially formed.
My father's up there. Open the gates and let's go.
But the Harrow Fiends below the temple. If they escape into the streets...
You and I will keep that from happening. Take the princess and deal with Svargrim, partner.
Yes. It's the only option. Let's go.
Behind us!
The Harrow Fiends!
I'm with you, my
loose.
friend. Up the stairs.
The tower and stop Svargrim. We'll hold the gate.
Afraid someone would come.
come to bear witness to my ascension. Father Al-Saran has given me power beyond anything you can imagine. Behold!
My father really has become a monster. Let's end this, one way or another.
How is this possible?
Why would you do this to our people? That was for Mother. For Solitude. And for every soul in Skyrim. Your ambition, your greed, look what it led to! We need to hurry. My father betrayed everything to aid the Grey Host. With his death, Solitude is saved. It's done. We killed my father and ended the Herostorm. The city still stands. Skyrim still stands. Although the Tower of the Wolf may have been damaged beyond repair. No, of course not. My father was the High King of Western Skyrim. I always thought he had the best interests of our holds and our people in his heart. But there was a darkness there. Jealousy, bitterness. He wanted to control all of Skyrim. For Svargrim, yes, I think it was. As for Rada al-Saran and the Grey Host, I am not entirely sure what they're after. Enough of this. I need to get to work. With my father gone, someone has to pick up the pieces and restore the holds. First, on behalf of Western Skyrim, take this with my thanks. We would have been lost without you. Then, rest. Check on our friends. Injuries must be tended to, buildings repaired. Other wounds will take longer. We'll have more to do soon enough. Whatever Rada al-Saran and the Grey Host were planning, I think the worst is behind us as far as Western Skyrim is concerned. With Svargrim dead, their grip on the holds comes to an end. Not officially. At least I don't think so. I feel like the whole world's crumbling around me. But the city's still standing, so that's something. I'm more worried about our friends. We left Lyris and Fen to hold off a horde of Hero fiends. Hopefully they were able to hold the courtyard and keep those monsters out of the city. You go on ahead and check on them. I need to collect myself. Solitude needs Princess Svanna now. And I'm not quite ready to be her. Thank you. Help them and anyone else as best you can. I'll do the same. Once you're done with them, I'll find you and we can figure out what to do next. Gods, I hope so. Haven't we dealt with enough already? I need to see what happened firsthand. All the suffering and pain my father caused. I can't undo it, but I can make amends. Or at least try to.
Tell me truthfully, Lyris. How much of this blood is mine?
Not enough to be worried about.
You did it. I shouldn't be surprised. But things were looking rather bleak before the clouds parted. We held the gate as long as we could, but the Harrow Fiends were a flood of claws and teeth. Once they burst through, Lyris cleaved through them like a scythe through wheat. But even she couldn't stem the tide. I'm not really sure. I kind of went wild. Let out my inner beast, as it were. I was rending and slashing. Then Lyris whacked me with the flat of her blade. At least that's the last thing I remember. Not my finest hour, but we survived. The elixir is my next priority, of course. As long as the Harrow Storms are still a threat, we need a defense against them. After that, I want to examine the records we took from Greymoor Keep. I still think there's a cure for the Herod in there. Sadly, I don't think there's any hope for them. Their life energy was sucked dry, turning them into feral beasts. Restoring them is beyond my capabilities, I'm afraid. At least with the Herod, they're not so far gone as to be a lost cause. As soon as we produce enough of it, yes. We saw how it protected Svanna. Now, where did I put my flask?
So, is it over? What happened to Svargrim? And where's Svanna? A parent's betrayal cuts deeper than a sword. But Svanna's strong. Stronger than she's been given credit for. And Solitude's going to need that strength in the coming days. If you told me the tavern rat we met at the Lonely Troll would become my choice to lead this land, I'd have called you mad. Then again, my king's a skald, so what do I know? Come on, there's probably something productive we should be doing. Find out if everyone in the Hall of the Dead is all right. I'll make sure Castle Dower is secured. We did our best to hold the Harrow Fiends inside Castle Dower, but nothing short of stone walls were going to keep those monsters from pushing through. Seemed like everyone I killed was replaced by 2 more. Almost didn't. We were nearly overrun before Fen went wild. I've never seen him like that, snarling and showing what a true vampire can do. Took the Harrow Fiends by surprise and we routed them. I did have to thwack him to clear his head, though.
Good to see you aren't raising mugs with Ismir just yet.
We saw the storm break, but we heard nothing since you departed from Blackreach.
I regret we didn't throw a parade to welcome you back, but I'll cheer enough for 100 souls if you tell me you put that backbiter of a High King to the sword. But what of Svanna? Is she? That's good, but a daughter shouldn't have to kill her own father. Svanna has my support, for whatever that's worth. She's going to need all the help she can get in the days to come. Not until we hold a moot to support her claim, and we need more than a single Jarl for that to occur. If Svanna proves herself as the acting Jarl, they might look past her father's failings and make her the queen, eventually. We can settle the matter of the crown when there's kingdom enough to rule. What remains of the holds are still ravaged by the Harrow Storms, and I doubt we've seen the last of the Grey Host, for that matter. None good, but none bad either. My wife knows better than anyone how to care for our people. I trust she and my Thane to protect and care for Morthal in my absence.
We seem to have survived, thank the gods. I thought for certain we were all about to witness the end of the world. No thanks to Svargrim, damn his eyes. After you and the princess went off to Blackreach, I gathered whoever we could, and made our stand here in the Hall of the Dead. I'm just glad we don't have to be permanent residents. Far fewer than I feared when the storm began. Thanks to you and the princess, with the storm over and the Grey host driven from Castle Dower, my soldiers will get the city back into shape. As long as no one else attacks us in the meantime.
They're here! They're at the gates!
The Grey host? I thought we were done with them for now.
Not the Grey host! The Skald King with an army from the east!
What treachery is this?
To the gates. We'll give the Skald King a proper welcome, one way or another.
Rich men from the west, packed from the east, monsters from below. This city's cursed.
Svargrim was right to fear you envoys from the east. That either makes you a fool, or it makes us fools for trusting you. I'm not in a trusting mood, but I hope you're right. Let's go see what the Skald King wants.
What should I make of this timely visit? Has Yoren finally decided to attack? The work of the she-giant, then. But did she call for him to aid us in our hour of need, or to deliver the killing blow? Let's see what words the poet has for us this time.
Pleased to see you in
Stand down, you
solitude,
idiot!
stranger.
We come in peace.
Partner, could really use your knack for diplomacy right now. Speak to the Skald King before we start a war.
Sure, save me from fools and prophets. Will no one properly greet a weary traveler?
I know that there's little love between East and West, but now's not the time to be picking a fight. Lyris's report on the rise of Grey Host had my father preparing for the worst. When we hadn't received word for some time, he decided to intercede. Svargrim. It's hard to believe the rumors were true. I didn't know him well, but I can't understand how anyone could throw away everything for the promise of power. What's immortality worth if there's nothing you hold dear? You'd have to ask him. As far as I can tell, the Western holds are in chaos. They could use a king who cares for his fellow Nords, but if the welcome we received here is any indication, Solitude won't see it that way.
Oh, familiar face. Maybe you can talk some sense into these Western milk drinkers. We're not a damn invasion. We're here to help. Do you know what's going on? So the rumors are true? Svargrim joined the Grey Host? I knew he had ambitions, but to throw away his humanity like that, it's inconceivable. Svargrim once told me that he would die before welcoming me to Solitude. I suppose he was right. That's why I sent Lyris here in the first place. I'm not the king of these holds, though. I can't do anything if they refuse my help. Svargrim despised me. He would never accept my aid. But Svanna... here she comes now. Let's see what she has to say.
We have no need of help that involves welcoming your soldiers within our walls.
My walls, Jarl. My father may have been willing to slap aside the helping hand, but I'm not. Permit me a word with your envoy, Skald King.
It seems Princess Svanna takes after her mother. That bodes well for the people of Solitude.
now we're finally getting somewhere. Help Svanna clean up this mess as best you can.
Thank you. For holding the line, I mean. I'm ready to do what I should have done a long time ago. To do what my father never could. I'll speak with the Skald King. There's one more thing I'd like you to do while I entertain our guests. We saved Solitude, but our war with the Grey Host is far from over. We need Fenn's elixir more than ever. With that, and King Yoren's help, we might just push these monsters back into their grave for good. Check on Fenn's progress, please. That depends on Fenn. If there's anything standing in his way, let me know, and I'll do everything in my power to get him what he needs. Fenn is with old Mjolnir at the Mages Guild. When you're finished with him, join me in the courtyard of the Blue Palace. I'm going to hold a moment of remembrance for this city. We all need a moment to mourn what we lost. I'm going to invite the Skald King to join us. If the people of Solitude see him bow his head along with the rest of us, they may not care about the divide between the East and the West.
Clasping arms with Easterners. There's been enough death for one day.
So we're to bow our heads with the Skald King? Perhaps the poets prepared a dirge.
Did the princess say something about an elixir? Windhelm will provide whatever resources are necessary to produce as much of an elixir as possible.
I was not expecting Princess Svanna to be so commanding. I'd heard... well, I'm glad that not all the rumors I've heard about the state of Solitude are true.
I should remain with the Skald King. I trust you can handle Svanna's request without me.
What is it?
It's not all in the blood. Ah, good, you're here. We've made a breakthrough.
I have seen many things in my time, but never could I have predicted I would soon train adepts of the Mages Guild in the arts of my ancestors. This is an institution of elves. They know nothing of the soul of the world. Here, magic is a thing to be measured and weighed. Mages know. They do not feel. Necessity and a hope they can learn. If we're to brew enough elixir for everyone in the kingdom, it will take all the herb grinders in the holds. Here at least they know how to use a mortar and pestle.
I was just discussing a theory with Mjolnir, and it seems like we're very close to turning this elixir into a true restorative. A cure. Singolis's research on the nether root showed me just how it weakens the connection between a body and soul. Thus far I've been able to inure a person to the root, but now I'm certain I can use that knowledge to heal those weakened bonds. Well, it is just a theory at this point. There's a lot more testing and experimentation to be done before we can produce a viable antidote. Weeks, optimistically? I know. We can't simply put things on hold. Mjolnir and I have a batch brewing right now, and materials to keep producing for another day. Ingert's promised us a steady supply of Arcase oil, but that's not our limiting factor. We know enough about Singolus's refinement processes to replicate his methods, but we still need a source of netherroot to do so. Tell Svanna that if she can keep us supplied, we can produce enough elixir for all the holds in a matter of weeks. We can ransack Greyhost's stockpiles, or mount an expedition into Blackreach. Otherwise, it would take decades of work to produce a proper crop. After we get the elixir squared away, we'll turn our attention to curing the Herald. Indeed. As I surmised, the Grey Reliquaries contained the remains of ancient Greyhost warriors. They served as a connection to the souls trapped in Cold Harbor. Using the energy from the Harrowstorms, the souls were pulled into the stone husks. I believe the stone husks are incubators of a sort. The physical forms of the Greyhost are reincorporated within the stone vessels, through a mix of Singolus's alchemy and sorcery, and the magic of the Ice Reach witches. When whole, they burst free.
What do you want?
A little help here would be nice.
I was hoping you'd return before we began. Tell me you've got good news. I'll feel a lot better delivering a speech about healing and hope, knowing that we're on the road to recovery. What did Fen have to say about the elixir? Not the best news, but I'll take it. So long as we have enough to protect our soldiers, we have a fighting chance against the Grey Host. I'll go to the Undergrove myself, if that's what it takes. Now that would be cause for celebration. If he can really bring back even a fraction of those we lost to the Harrowstorms, I'm willing to try. That's all I needed to hear. We should begin the ceremony before the crowd grows more restless. Nothing fancy, just a traditional Nord wake. To mourn and celebrate those we've lost, and cherish the lives we still have. I'd like you to join us. None of us would be here to sing dirges for the dead or celebrate the living if not for you. I certainly wouldn't be here, ready to lead my hold. You've supported me since I started down this path. I'm honored to have you here at the end. Sons and daughters of Skyrim, we have the honor today of remembering the dead.
Honor to the fallen!
Sons and daughters of Skyrim, our trials were fierce, but we are still here.
We stand and we remain!
Now, we raise our voices to tell Sovngarde of the coming of the worthy dead, and to tell the world that the Nords are still here! We are still standing!
The fallen now march home to hallowed halls, to join our ancestors in boundless drink and song and brawls. Let sound the horns, let peal the bells, let loose the ancient hymn. We will remain until time ends, we children of Skyrim.
I can't think of a more fitting send-off for my father than Nords of both kingdoms mourning side by side. Skyrim may be divided, but at least our honored dead are united in Sovngarde. Joran, Redharn, and I need to form a plan to distribute Fenn's elixir and push back against the Grey Host. And acquire more netherroot, it seems. There's a lot to be done, but I'm surrounded by good people. I trust we'll get through this together. I can't leave everything to you, you know. Well, I probably could. But even Greymoor took a rest now and again. Let us shoulder the burden for a while. I'm sure I'll need to call on you again soon enough. I don't know. It's not important, not right now. What matters is rallying the people against the enemy, our real enemy. If that means seeking the crown, then I'll do what needs to be done. Sovngarde is a place for the honored dead. Svargrim gave up his seat in the Hall of Valor when he made his pact with the Ashen Lord. Wherever he is, I hope he regrets how he got there.
We made it through, if barely. When the clouds began to gather over Castle Dower, I feared I'd have to witness. Thank you for stopping it. I don't know that my heart could bear another Carthwatch. The rest of Carthold fared as poorly as its capital. The hold has been laid to waste, its people dead or scattered. With so few left to rebuild and resettle, I fear the Reachmen will come to claim it long before the Nords set roots there again. I have already pledged myself to Svanna. I will serve as her court mage. I hope to counsel her better than I did Jarl Olfwen. For now, I've used my status in the Mages Guild to solicit their aid in producing the Harrowstorm elixir.
I'm glad to be done with this. Diplomacy and investigation aren't my favorite pastimes. They seem to suit you, though. You stepped up to the task better than I could have hoped. I'll be staying so long as Joran's here, or until I can persuade him to send me after Rada al-Saran. That leech owes a lot of blood to us, and I intend to squeeze it out of him. We have to find him first. Whatever his plans were after sacking Solitude, we haven't uncovered them. With any luck, the Skald King will send me on a raid of the Grey Host, and I can beat some answers out of a few of them. Count on it.
I hadn't had a moment to honor the fallen of Morthal since you came to my doorstep. Kind willing, they made their passage to Sovngarde. When things are settled here, Hjalmarch has weathered these storms better than Hafingar and Carthol. If we can keep the kingdom from complete collapse, it's worth a few weeks away from my home and hearth.
I could not have said it better myself. Princess Svanna will make a fine ruler. Of course, some may choose to blame her for her father's misdeeds, but I will seek forgiveness from them. There have been enough divisions of blood and feuding. It is a new day. This is a time to mend rifts and forge new bonds.
My friend, you have done so much for the holds of Western Skyrim. I fear it is a debt that can never be repaid. And bringing Freywin back to us, you will always have my thanks. Freywin's return is a blessing. Some have just taken longer to understand that. Sadly, there are no balms for broken trust.
Mother always told me stories of growing up in solitude, but I never expected it to feel like this. All these people, and the buildings are so close together. How does anyone live here without feeling trapped? As funny as it is to say, out of place. I spent so long in exile, I'm happy to be home. Mother has been so kind to me, but there is so much I need to mend with her, with my father. But I'm here, thanks to you. We all are, as I hear.
You gave those Grey Host bastards a good fight, I'll give you that. Now that Dark Moon Grotto is safe again, I'm itching to do the same.
As soon as we heard you were caught up in everything going on in Solitude, Captain Malvok had us set out straight away. You may not sail with us, but you're crew, and we look after our own. We'll have a proper funeral for our lost crew when we return home. Eventually, we'll refit and continue our work. A little older and wiser, I suppose.
We heard what happened to the city, my friend. After everything you've done for my crew, it seemed only right that we come to offer our help. Trying to get things up and running again. We're still searching for a shipwright to make the necessary repairs on the Silver Cormorant, but her sailing days are far from over.
Looking around Solitude, it puts what happened at Dragon Bridge in perspective. I think the Western Holds owe you more than they know. Well enough. They're tired but managing. I think everyone here feels the same. Looks like we could all use a drink. Luckily, Ina's here to help.
You've got a habit of saving people and places, don't you? I'm not complaining, of course, merely observing. I've certainly got my work cut out for me here anyway. Doing the only good I know how. Boosting morale, of course. With the mess in Dragon Bridge cleaned up, I've been getting my regular shipments again. Which means mead, and a lot of it. I may not be much good at rebuilding, but I know how to keep cups flowing.
Ina acts like I'm made of glass these days, but I feel stronger than ever. I may have injured my arm, but I can still help Solitude. Better without those Reach bastards crawling through our tunnels like rats. The bridge still stands, thanks to you. And with the strain taken off our operation and the garrison, we're free to help out around here.
You have shown yourself to be a true warrior. Not only at Mor Khazgor, but here too. My clan is eager to repay you and help these people. We know they're suffering all too well.
This is wonderful! A bard and a celebration go together like wine and... wine! You know, the college has bonded together once again because of you. We won't soon forget it. Or maybe we will. We're bards after all. Truth is sometimes sacrificed on the altar of entertainment.
After everything I've seen, I can no longer place my faith in Meridia. But I refuse to abandon my friends. We will attempt to seal the temple and purge the corruption. If it were up to me, I would leave it in ruins.
Princess Jarl Svanna reminds me more of the Queen every passing moment. We're in good hands, I think. I'll pledge myself to her, if she'll have me. I was fool enough to follow Svargrim as long as I did, so it's more than I deserve. He did, but I was by his side day in and day out. If anyone should have seen what he was becoming and put a stop to it, it was me. I owe a lot to Solitude for my failure, If Svanna allows me to repay it, I'll be glad.
In their own way, the people of Western Skyrim are as strong as the Nords of the East. Even after so much suffering, they still stand against the howling wind. We shall do everything within our power to help them recover. Blood alone does not make one worthy to rule a hold, let alone an entire kingdom. The princess will lead for now, but many questions must be answered before the Jarls crown a new ruler of Solitude. That's what a moot is for. If Princess Svanna agrees, I want to bring more of my people from Eastmarch to help restore Solitude and the Western Holds. My retinue is too small to deal with everything. We need more hands. All I can do is to offer my aid in good faith. Whether they decide to grab my hand or to slap it away, that's up to them. Despite our differences, I love this land. It's as much Skyrim as my beloved Eastern Holds. I would not see it suffer. Today, no, the time isn't right. As for the future, who can say? Svargrim was never interested in finding a path to reconciliation. Princess Svanna isn't a father, that much is clear. So I suppose I can hope.
My heart goes out to these people. We are no strangers to conflict back east, but none of our holds have been ravaged by the kind of devastation brought by the Grey Host. We are fortunate that you stopped them. So I've heard. The princess has come a long way from the girl I met so long ago. And I've changed as well. I'm not quite as obnoxious and close-minded as I was when my father first formed the Ebonheart Pact. At least I try not to be. If the princess remains in charge of the Western Holds, I think the chances of true reconciliation are good. My father will certainly do everything he can to make that happen. And so will I. Princess Svanna, she's become a very impressive woman.
Solitude's had a rough time of it. Talene and I were planning on heading to Somerset, but I think we could both do some good work here. We can help rebuild and make the city better than it ever was. My thirst for adventure was sated during our time in Lightless Hollow, I assure you. After we help the people here, I fully intend to give Talene a few years of uneventful bliss. Maybe we'll start for Somerset again. Who knows?
Well, you certainly keep busy. I'm sorry for the loss these people have suffered. My husband and I would like to help however we can. It might not be the retirement I envisioned for us, but it's the right thing to do. If I can convince Vigor, I'd like to take him to Somerset. I fear he'll get bored with nothing to do, but perhaps you really did cure him of his appetite for adventuring.
Walker, you and Fenorian did well to stop the traitor king. We will make sure no other threats befall the city. We swear it. Rada El Saran is still out there, and eventually he might try something like this again. Solitude may be safe
For now. But wherever he strikes next may not share the same fortune. Nothing like standing in a crowd of Nords who barely survived a brush with vampires to make you miss Ravenwatch Castle, eh? We've been told to hold position and monitor the Grey Host's activities, though I'd wager you've done most of the heavy lifting already. It'll very nearly be a bit of a holiday after everything else that's happened. We've had a long road from Carthwatch to here, but all of us survived the journey unharmed. We are together, thanks to you. Our town may be gone, but thank the gods Solitude didn't suffer a similar fate. Our town is lost. I've heard stories of towns left empty and untouched after fire, sickness, or storm. I don't see Carthwatch's fate being any different. As for the Hold, I suspect the Reachmen take control. There's no one left to fight back. Nothing new, thank the Eight. But the memories of what those witches put in my head still haunts me. What could it mean? The sisters believed I am a descendant of some rich hero, but I have no interest in that. As far as I care, I am a Nord.
I won't let what happened to Carthwatch happen anywhere else. If the Reachmen think they can take my homeland, I have an axe that will teach them otherwise. I must find a new home for my brothers and sisters of Carthwatch. My brother Fenrir spoke to Jarl Redhan. It may be that we settle in Morthal. I think Bjorra would prefer the high walls of Solitude, though. Wherever we go, we'll stick together.
Bastards who did this. I'm sorry we didn't get a chance to make them pay for it. But we're done chasing ghosts below ground for now. We're here to help however we can. Once we help the people of Solitude get back on their feet, I imagine we'll go back to Blackreach. Though our initial investigation didn't reveal anything supernatural, there is still much to uncover and explore. I do not believe our work here is over.
As soon as we heard the news, Claudina insisted we come to offer whatever aid we could. Once again, you have proven yourself to be incredibly brave, and downright fearless. If there's anything I can do to help, just ask. Claudina seems intent on going back to Blackreach. After we help the poor people of this place rebuild, we'll head there. Spirits may not have been the culprits of what happened in Dusktown, but that doesn't mean they aren't down there.
We all lost someone today. A comrade, a father, a friend. I'm fortunate enough to have gained a good leader, at least. Well, we all have. Who do you take me for? It'd besmirch my reputation to abandon a kingdom in such desperate need of cheer. Mog does not leave a place less joyful than he finds it. I'll be coordinating morale efforts from the Lonely Troll if you need me.
Looking around Solitude, it puts what happened at Dragon Bridge in perspective. I think the Western Holds owe you more than they know.